Have you ever stopped to think about why we dance? It's one of the most basic, most human things we do. Today, we're going to trace that story. This isn't just about steps. It's about why we move, how that movement has totally transformed over time, and what it all says about who we are. Okay, let's get into it.
So let's start with that big question, why have we always danced? I mean, from ancient rituals around a fire to the latest viral TikTok challenge, dance seems to be hardwired into our DNA. You could say it's a language that came way before words, a way for us to celebrate, to grieve, to connect with each other, and to tell our stories.
And believe me, this has been going on for a very, very long time. Just look at this timeline. We're talking about a history that stretches back at least 26,000 years, from ceremonial trance dances to the super formal court dances of the Renaissance, all the way to the modern and hip-hop styles that exploded in the 20th century, and now to the global styles that mix and mingle everywhere. It's a truly epic journey.
But here's the thing, dance isn't always about perfect choreography or happy celebrations. It can be this raw, almost dangerous force. Get this, there was a time when entire towns were caught in what they called a dancing plague, literally unable to stop. This bizarre phenomenon, known as danceomania, is a wild reminder that dance can be this incredibly powerful primal force of nature.
So how did dance go from this kind of raw communal experience to a formal, high-end art form? Well, the story takes a massive turn when it moves out of the village circle and into the royal courts of Europe. This is where it shifted from being primarily spiritual to being intensely social. And it really all comes down to one guy, France's King Louis XIV. He wasn't just a king who liked to watch dance. He was a serious, passionate dancer himself. He and his dance master, a man named Pierre Beauchamp, basically took the social dances of the day and started writing down the rules, turning them into the structured, elegant art form we now call ballet.
And that brings us to the actual vocabulary of ballet. For the first time, really, dance had a universal language, a set of rules and positions that every single dancer had to master no matter where you were from. It was a strict system. It all starts right here with the plie. It's the French word for to bend. Now, it might look simple. It's just a bend of the knees, right? But this single move is the foundation for almost everything in ballet. It's the engine that gives you power for jumps and the cushion that gives you grace for landings. Next up, we have the tendu, which means to stretch. This is where you really see the incredible precision of ballet. The way the foot just glides along the floor, it's all about control and creating those beautiful, long, clean lines. And here we have one of the most iconic poses in all of dance, the arabesque. It's this perfect, delicate balance of strength and artistry. It looks absolutely stunning, but it is incredibly difficult to perfect. And finally, the pirouette, which means to whirl. This is the showstopper, a complete spin on one leg. It's the ultimate test of a dancer's balance, core strength, and technical skill. But you know what happens when you create a whole bunch of strict rules, right? Sooner or later, someone is going to want to break them. Which leads us right to the birth of modern dance. By the early 1900s, a new generation of dancers started to feel that ballet's strict rules were, well, suffocating. They wanted to create movement that felt more personal, more expressive, and frankly, more human. This slide just lays it out so perfectly. It was a complete philosophical shift, where classical ballet was all about appearing weightless, ethereal, defying gravity. Modern dance did the exact opposite. It was grounded, it used gravity, and it put raw emotional expression way ahead of any kind of rigid formality. A huge figure in this rebellion was Isadora Duncan. She famously tossed out the corsets and the point shoes of ballet. Instead, she danced barefoot in these flowing tunics. For her, dance wasn't about perfect technique. It was about natural, improvised movement that came straight from the soul. And then there was Martha Graham, who people often call the mother of modern dance. She was a real game changer. She created a whole new technique based on the really visceral act of contraction and release, the tightening and then freeing of your core muscles. It gave dancers a brand new, raw, emotional language to express complex feelings like grief or rage in a way that ballet just never could. Okay, so while modern dance was shaking up the concert stage, a totally different kind of revolution was happening outside the theaters. A new kind of freedom and improvisation was exploding in social halls and on city streets. Dance was literally coming back to the people.
And you can draw a direct line through these hugely popular social dances. You've got the wild energy of the Charleston in the 1920s, which then evolved into the super athletic and acrobatic Lindy Hop of the swing era. And the spirit of that improvisational social dance culture fed directly into the birth of hip-hop in the 1970s.
And just like ballet, hip-hop developed its own rich vocabulary. You've got the incredible acrobatics of breaking, the sharp muscle hits of popping, those frozen poses of locking, and the mind-bending illusion of waving. It was a whole new art form, born from pure creativity on the streets.
So we have these powerful movements, right? The court, the stage, and the street. For our final section, let's talk about the icons who took these different styles, blended them together, and then broadcast them to the entire world. First up, Fred Astaire, the master of elegance. Through his Hollywood films, he made tap and ballroom dancing look like the coolest thing in the world. He influenced generations with what looked like an effortless style, but was actually backed by absolute perfectionism. And then you have the king of pop. Michael Jackson took the raw energy of street styles like popping and locking, he mixed it with the showmanship of legends like Fred Astaire, and he created something the world had never seen before. Moves like the moonwalk became these global phenomena, completely defining a new era of performance. And we absolutely have to talk about the trailblazer Arthur Mitchell. At a time when the world of classical ballet was almost exclusively white, he broke a massive barrier by becoming the first African-American principal dancer at the New York City Ballet. He then went on to found the Dance Theater of Harlem, opening the door for countless dancers of color and changing the face of the art form forever. So you see the pattern, right? From Louis XIV writing down the first rules of ballet, to Isadora Duncan kicking off her shoes and dancing barefoot, to the innovators of hip-hop creating a new language on the pavement, the history of dance is really a history of breaking rules. And that leaves us with one final, fascinating question. What rules are being broken right now, and what will dance look like tomorrow?